everybody. I'm John Karuba, and this is my presentation on the vocal stylings of the one, the only Mike Francesa, truly one-of-a-kind sportscaster. First, a little bit of background. Francesa co-hosted Mike and the Mad Dog on WFAN Sports Radio 66 in New York City from 1989 to 2008. He's a two-time Marconi Award winner, winning it in 2000 with Mike and the Mad Dog, and then winning it by himself in 2012. 2018 National Radio Hall of Fame inductee. He also currently hosts his own podcast, the Mike Francesa Podcast, on Bet Rivers Network, and a 1977 graduate of St. John's in the Communications Department. Of the three big vocal techniques that I'm going to discuss about Mike that I think really separated him as a legendary sportscaster, I think his biggest one was his inflection. As we're going to see in this clip here from 2012, Mike raised the volume and inflection of his voice to really emphasize how poorly the Mets played when they got swept by the Rockies a few years ago, a team that's not particularly good and still isn't. But he used his inflection and his volume to convey to the listeners how frustrated he was with them and emphasize the Mets' critical errors. He basically broke down the series in a way that only Mike Francesa can do that makes him so special and memorable. Let's take a look.
Today, Valdes couldn't get a bunt down, blew a ball in center field in a 0-0 game, and did you watch as Baxter on a base hit got forced at second? If I saw that in a Little League game, I'd be upset. On a base hit in front of him, he got nailed at second base. This is Major League Baseball. You're actually paying to watch this. The 8 people who were there today, give them their money back. You gotta be kidding me. If I was the manager, I'd jump off the roof if that was my team.
So we covered his inflection and how he conveys his passion, which is something that I also want to be remembered for as a sportscaster, is the passion and through the inflection. Now we're also going to get into his pacing. And in this clip from 2013, when he evaluates the New York Jets after firing their general manager, Mike Tannenbaum, one thing as a sportscaster, you want your statements to have impact. You want it to last with the listeners. And I believe that what Mike was able to do in making them impactful is letting his words hang there for a second. Give them just that extra second of space. And Mike was able to do that. And when you do it, you can conserve your breath so that you have proper delivery and finish. It sets a conversational and natural tone, so it feels like you're actually talking with your audience, not talking at them. Also, make sure the audience can follow along with what you're saying. And also, from an entertainment standpoint, it helps build anticipation for what you're going to say next. And Mike did all these things brilliantly. Let's take a look.
The bottom line is, for Rex Ryan, with all his bluster and everything that he's put forth here, which we all know now is a phony act, because when it got tough, he wasn't tough. And when it got tough, we watched him quiver in these press conferences. And just sit there and mumble and bumble his way through press conferences at the worst level we've seen in this town forever. And then for him to cancel a press conference on Monday after Mr. T gets fired and not say one word in his behalf is one of the gutless things I've ever seen in this town. And he can look in the mirror and answer to that. Give Tannenbaum credit. He stood up there. He met with the players. He met with the media. He answered the questions. And he left with some integrity. All right, he took a beating. But he went out like a man. He didn't go and hide somewhere like Rex Ryan did. What a disgrace.
So now we've covered his pacing and how he even used it to compare Tannenbaum and Rex Ryan. The last vocal technique that I'm going to point out, his diaphragmatic breathing. And I think in this situation it really helped him because he was in a spot that none of us would be envy of. He had to break some sad news about his colleague, Mad Dog Russo, his father passing away at the age of 82. And not only did he have to do this in front of a live audience because he was doing an on-location show. He also still had to do it in front of his radio listening audience. And unfortunately, life happens. So there may be a situation where I might have to break some tragic news. And so I think that the diaphragmatic breathing of Mike allowed him to keep his composure, at least emotionally, even knowing it was someone he was close with. He was still able to keep his delivery professional. And I think, and you're going to hear in this clip, the diaphragmatic breathing and even through his nose to help him keep calm. Doing this also adds impact to your words because you maintain a strong core so that you can give the delivery, keep a steady conversational pace, and the more air that you have in your core, the better, and you avoid straining your voice because the more air, the more power your voice has, the less straining you have to do. So I thought Mike used his breathing brilliantly here to get through this.
I do have a bit of sad news, and I want to get this. It's important that we'll get it out of the way, and then we'll move on to other things. We did do the show together for 19 years, and as you know, a big part of that was his father, Tony Russo. He used to come on the show all the time. He became a big fan favorite. He was a huge Yankee fan, and I have to report, very sadly for us, is that Tony passed away yesterday at the age of 82. He got sick very quickly. It took him very quickly. He had cancer of the kidney that spread, and he went within a matter of weeks. Dog is out in Santa Fe right now with his mother, Molly. And Tony celebrated his 82nd birthday on Sunday. Monday, he celebrated his 57th wedding anniversary to Molly. Again, Tony passes at the age of 82, and he will be sorely missed.
And so to me, these were the vocal techniques that really makes Mike Francesa a sportscaster, not only memorable, but certainly worthy of the Hall of Fame and all his career accomplishments. Thank you very much.
So let me ask you a question, if you don't mind. So what do you think has contributed to his longevity in the industry?
I think the fact that he's so knowledgeable about what he's talking about, I think mainly his passion. You'll know that's why I started with the clip off the top. It was ranting. I think everybody remembers that. They appreciate it. And he was a pioneer because he really helped him and Mad Dog start the sports talk radio genre. Without them, you know, who knows where sports talk radio would be today. So to me, I just think the fact that he's a pioneer, so knowledgeable and passionate, I think those are the reasons why he's so entertaining, why he's been around so long.
Excellent. Nice work. Thank you. Nicely done, John.
Thank you. I'll cut the recorder.
Sure. How did that feel to you?
Good.
Good.
Like, I'm glad I did do